Come on in, settle in. Let's talk weather. Hi, everybody. Carson Meredith with you. It is Sunday, October 13th. It is 7:42 p.m. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a good weekend. We are going to chat about a big weather whiplash that is really just starting to move in tonight. Ready for that first big chill of fall? It's on the way for the early part of this new work week. That's what we are going to focus on mainly in our weather chat tonight. We will talk about the increasing risk for frost. Yes, I'm becoming more and more confident that we will see frost in at least parts of wave country later on this week. So we're going to talk about that. I'll tell you when we'll warm up again. And if we have time, we may talk a little tropics. There's one little disturbance that we're watching again. It's not a huge issue at this point, but we'll throw it out there if time permits. Okay, comments we go. Carrie, right out of the gate. Where you been all this week? I was out of town. I was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Anybody ever been there? Out the Smoky Mountains. Gorgeous down there. Just beautiful. I love this time of year in general, but especially down in the Smokies in October. Cannot ask for better. And I cannot ever remember a stretch where I was down in the Smokies for 4 or 5 days where we had full blue skies, and it was in the 70s. It was perfect. So that's where I've been, but it's good to be back. Angela says, good evening. Gorgeous, albeit warm today. Looking forward to the cool down is Angela. I am too. DJ King says, good evening from North Vernon. Hope you're well, my friend. Hope you're well. Sorry, I was just looking at another comment that popped up on the Facebook stream. Okay, here we go. That's the live view of downtown Louisville from our Jeffersonville Skytrack camera. Beautiful sunset just in the last few minutes. Gorgeous day. We got up to 82 today. Not too far off the record for October 13th, which is 88. So certainly a warm one out there, but the cooler air is settling in. It is now 73 here in the city. And you can always tell, my friends, when a cold front has moved through, when the wind is moving out of either the west or northwest, or in this case, the west-northwest. It's still breezy out there. 15-mile-per-hour winds. Last check at the airport, we had a gust earlier today, upwards of 33 miles per hour. So certainly been a breezy one. And there's going to be some breeze to deal with tomorrow as well, although I don't think it'll be quite as blustery, if you will, as what we saw today. You can see the cooler temperatures are moving on in southern Indiana. Look at those 60s. 69 in Bedford and North Vernon, 67 in Seymour, 68 in Salem, 64 in Paoli, 69 in Corydon. Obviously, we mentioned here in the city, still a little warmer, 73. But it's still taking a little while for all of this cooler air to move in. So if you're down in southern Kentucky, you're still in the low 70s for the most part. 72 in Bardstown, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Columbia. But as the night goes on, that cooler air will continue to stream in. And the reason why, of course, is the cold front. It was a quiet cold front. We like quiet cold fronts. That means no rain. That means no storms. That's exactly what happened earlier today. Zoom things out. There's that front. But if you look closely, down near, let's say, London, Kentucky, Williamsburg, Corbin, little pocket of showers trying to develop down that way as this cold front continues its trek south and east. So again, this cooler air lagging behind just a little bit as this front scoots through. So we'll slowly continue to cool things down here as the night goes on. Angela, I'm with you. Yay, frost. Kill the ragweed. Goodness. I got home from Tennessee last night around 7. And I was rushing to get to bed because I needed some kind of sleep before I came in today. And I forgot to take my allergy medicine. So I'm struggling. Janet says it was awesome outside today. Yeah, it was very nice. Warm. You know, we're usually in the low 70s this time of year, mid-October, but about 10 degrees warmer than that today. Tanya says hello from Hanover. DJ King always asking about that snow. Can it come with cooler temperatures? Well, I can give you cooler temperatures this week. I cannot give you snow just yet. Brian's still working on his winter forecast, by the way. Betty says, "Burr." I take it, Betty, you're not ready for this chill, huh? Joe says it's starting to get really dry again. Hoping for at least some sign of rain. Yeah, it is. It is getting dry again. Unfortunately, Joe, we are not in a technical drought just yet. Southern Indiana is a little dry, according to the latest drought monitor. We're going to go back into a drought, guys. I hate saying it. We made such good progress with all that rain we had at the end of September from Helene. But we have not seen a single drop of rain, at least here in Louisville, in the month of October. We do have some small shower chance to talk about this week, but not a lot, I'm afraid. Tanya says, I hate to see fall come. Wish summer would stay. Everybody's got their own preference, Tanya. No shame in that. Everybody has their own taste, right? You can see the cooler temperatures, especially up to our north and west. Illinois, Lincoln, Illinois, 20 degrees cooler tonight compared to this time last night. That's what this map is. Indianapolis, about 9 degrees cooler. Here in Louisville, we're about 4 degrees cooler compared to Saturday evening. So, again, it's still taking a little while for this cooler air to move in, but it will get here. And you will need the jackets when you head out the door Monday morning. 48 is our forecast low. A lot of us will likely be, I'd say, around 45 or 46 degrees. So certainly a little shock to the system as you head out the door in the morning. And a shock to the system tomorrow afternoon. 62 is our forecast high temperature on Monday. If you were up with us earlier this morning, on Wave News Sunrise, I was talking about how the temperatures we started with today would be warmer than our high temperature on Monday. This is what I'm talking about. And I'm being a little ambitious with 62 here in the city tomorrow. A lot of us will stay in the 50s. 59, 58, 59 degrees, that ballpark. It's a good bet for a lot of us tomorrow. But here in Louisville, of course, that heat island, I'll nudge that high temperature up just a smidge more to 62. I mentioned it's still going to be breezy on Monday. It's not going to be quite as blustery, okay? But you notice we'll still see gusts 15, 20 miles per hour. That's a pretty good bet. And you'll also notice, see the little arrow? It's pointing from the north and west. What does that mean? That means this is going to be a cool breeze on Monday. It's not going to be a nice, refreshing, warmer breeze like we had today. This will be a cool breeze. So in addition to it already being cool as it is tomorrow, you add a cool breeze, it's going to make it feel a little cooler than what it already is. That's why the jackets are a must as you head out on your Monday, okay? More comments. Janice says, oh no, 50s. So Janice doesn't want this cooler weather just yet. To each their own, Janice. I hear you. Heidi says, missed you from Huntsville. Hey, good to see my North Alabama friends still following. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope all is well down there in North Alabama. Susan says, woohoo. Let me try that again. Woohoo. I'm tired. Can't you tell? Bring the chill. We're bringing the chill, Susan. That is for sure. The next couple days. Okay, that's the story for tomorrow. Let me jump to Tuesday real quick because it's still going to be cool on Tuesday, obviously. In fact, I think it's going to be a couple degrees cooler on Tuesday compared to what we'll have on Monday. But there's a low pressure in the atmosphere up to our north and east. Let's say up near Cleveland, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York, up in the Great Lakes. It's just going to spin, guys. Just spin and spin and spin and spin and spin in place. And for us, obviously, that means cooler temperatures. But it also means a couple more things. Clouds. More clouds than what we've had recently. And a small shower chance. You have these showers that just kind of like to pivot. Any Friends fans out there know that reference? You notice how these showers will just kind of pivot from the north. And will slide in to the south and east, rather, across wave country. So this is for Tuesday. And there's going to be a little more moisture around on Tuesday to where we may have a better shot at a couple of these light hit and miss showers. We could have a random shower on Monday. It's only a 10% chance. Tuesday, I think, is the best rain chance we have, not only for this week, but maybe for the next 2 weeks. Again, guys, this forecast looks incredibly, incredibly dry. So this may be it when it comes to rain for a while. And even then, you see on Futurecast Tuesday, it's not a lot. It's going to be a few of those hit and miss isolated light showers spinning through wave country, thanks to that upper level low pressure that's up in the Great Lakes. And it's just going to take a while for that low pressure to spin its way out of the Great Lakes. And it's going to take a while for these showers to spin out of wave country as a result. So the best shower chance we've got this week is on Tuesday. Even then, I don't think it's a lot. But some of you may get lucky and see a few of those showers by then. Here comes your 10-day. Haven't put 50s for highs in a while, have we? Yeah, 59 on Tuesday. So get ready, guys, especially if you're not a fan of the cooler temperatures. Now, as far as that frost potential, we're still looking at Wednesday morning and Thursday morning to have the highest risk for that frost. Let's look at Wednesday in particular. Let me take my graphics full so you can see it better. Many of us are going to be in the 30s. Mid-30s Wednesday morning. And the forecast models continue to trend colder and colder and colder with these morning lows, both Wednesday and Thursday. So you see outside the city, I mean, we're looking at overnight lows or morning lows, however you want to call it, between 33 and 35 on Wednesday morning. Now, here in Louisville, of course, it's going to be a little warmer with that heat island, but still cold, 38. So if you live in the suburbs of Jefferson County, you still may get a frost, no question. But if you live outside the city, frost is becoming very likely Wednesday morning. And I think there's a chance we could see a light freeze. So we kind of get all of it in one big swoop. First frost and first freeze for some of us. So let's think of it this way. Before you go to bed Tuesday night, okay? Protect the plants. This isn't one of those deals where you got to cover up the pipes, okay? Nothing like that. No extreme cold, all right? But if you still have some of those sensitive plants or vegetation still growing that you don't necessarily want to give up on yet, cover them up. If you got a potted plant, it's on the front porch or the deck or something, if you can bring it inside the garage, that's not a bad idea either, because it is going to be very, very chilly. Not just Wednesday morning. That's just one day I'm talking about here, okay? Look at Thursday morning. Let me take it full again so you guys can see it better. Maybe a little colder. 32, Corden, Hardinsburg, Litchfield, Columbia, Campbellsville, Lebanon, Bardstown, Shelbyville. I would argue there's an even better chance to see, obviously, a frost, but maybe even a light freeze on Thursday morning. Now, what could keep the frost threat in check would be two things. Cloud cover, one, and a breeze, which is what we're going to have the next couple of days, right? But you see, on Wednesday and Thursday, our forecast has full sunshine. And it looks as though the wind will subside. So what that means is we will have clear skies Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, no clouds. And the wind is going to be fairly light. Clear skies, calm wind means frost. So we're becoming fairly confident that we're going to see frost Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. Friday morning's a little more iffy because that's when we'll slowly start to get some warmer air back in here. Low 70s for the high temperature Friday afternoon. I've got a low temperature here in the city around 40 on Friday morning. That could mean upper 30s outside of Louisville. So we'll watch Friday morning for that frost potential again, but I'm not quite as confident in that as I am Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. We will likely have frost those 2 mornings. I would expect frost advisories, all that kind of jazz coming from the National Weather Service here in the next day or 2. All right. As you look at the rest of the 10-day, pretty quiet. We'll watch for a few showers on Tuesday, like I mentioned earlier. But we do see those temperatures level off in the low to mid 70s by next weekend for those highs. So we'll moderate things just a little bit as we get towards next weekend. Not only with those high temps, but those low temps too. Highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. That's next week and next week. But for this week, the big story is going to be that chill. Comments we go. Let's see. Rhoda says, what about Lexington? Pretty much the same deal. In fact, I would say there's a greater risk of a freeze in Lexington Wednesday and Thursday morning. So hope that answered your question there, Rhoda. Let's see. David says, will Northern Harrison County get a hard frost this week? Frost is likely in Harrison County, yes, and a freeze is possible. Will it be a hard killing freeze? I don't think so, but it will be potentially a light freeze, which could still cause some damage. So hope that answers your question there. Almost says, looking forward to the colder weather. There you go. Kevin says 30s. Ugh. Yeah, it's really weather whiplash, right? Go from 82 today to 38 Wednesday morning. Come on. Quite a shock. Let's see. Carrie's got some good thinking here. Better cut back those figs. Yep. Tanya says, got to cut the roses. Do you see any more 80s? Not right now. Not right now. I'll tell you that. We're done with the 90s. D-O-N-E done. Gone. See you next year. 80s. We've had 80s in November before. The long-term pattern does not suggest that at this time, but that can still change. So for now, no 80s in the 10-day, but I'm not ready to say we're done with the 80s yet. Anita is excited. Fall is really here this time. Yeah, you get that first frost. And, this is pretty typical for our area when it comes to seeing that first frost or freeze. Let me give you a map as an example. So I'll take this full again so you can see it. Sorry for the back and forth. Just want to make sure you guys understand what we're looking at here. So you see, honestly, our outlying areas are kind of behind schedule when it comes to seeing their first frost. You notice areas west of I-65, Bedford, Paoli, Salem, Jasper, you guys usually see a frost in late September or the first few days of October. And obviously that hasn't happened just yet, right? Here in Louisville, because of the heat island, obviously, we typically don't see a frost until October 20th, 25th, somewhere in that ballpark. So when you look at it that way, Louisville's a few days ahead of schedule when it comes to seeing a light frost, potentially. If you go outside of Louisville, you're way behind schedule. So it's kind of a mixed bag this year. But this, in general, it's fairly normal to start talking about a frost here. And I guess you'd call this the third week of October that we're heading into. So nothing out of the ordinary. All right. Here's a good question from Carrie. Can the temp get down to 30, but there still isn't frost? In other words, does below freezing always mean frost? Great question. Not always. Not always. Remember, when we're talking about frost, things need to be very peaceful outside. It needs to be a totally quiet night, clear skies, ideal, and not much of a wind. That kind of allows the air to settle and allows for that frost to develop. But let's say you got a big Arctic cold front moving through. We've had plenty of those, right? Where you see the wind chills 20 below zero, 30 below zero, with actual temperatures -5. You don't really see a lot of frost then for various factors, right? So below freezing does not always mean frost. But if the temperatures are in the 30s, frost or freeze doesn't matter. That could still cause issues for vegetation and plants. So hope that makes sense for you, Carrie. Good question. Really good question. Any last minute comments, questions, thoughts, concerns before we wrap things up? I did promise a tropical update. Let me do that. Hang on. Forgot to put it in my show here. There's one system that the Hurricane Center is still watching. It is way out in the Atlantic. It's really not developed much just yet. You can barely see the beginnings of it right there, just kind of getting its act together today. 40% chance for development in the next week. Possibly, emphasize the word possibly, making a run towards the Caribbean. That's all I can say at this point, guys. I'm not worried about Florida just yet. I'm not worried about the East Coast just yet, nor should you be. You should not be worried about this either. It's just something we'll watch, okay? 40% chance for development in the next week, if it develops at all. There's still a lot of uncertainty that we're going to have to work through with that particular wave, as it's just now getting its act together. Just something to watch. There's nothing else happening in the tropics aside from that one wave that's just now getting going. And there's really not much happening here aside from the cool down, right? So jackets are a must. If you've held off on wearing those jackets so far this fall, I think your time's running out. Upper 50s to low 60s for the next 3 days. Frost is most likely Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. And we could have frost Friday morning. Wednesday, Thursday, likely. Friday, possible when it comes to frost. And then we'll warm things back up into the 70s by next weekend. Tanya's asking, when does hurricane season end? Thanksgiving weekend, November 30th. So we got a long way to go still. We are on the downhill trend when it comes to averages for the hurricane season. Like, we passed the peak of what we usually see in the tropics. So hopefully that trend will verify this year as well, where we slowly calm things down for the rest of October into November. But we've had plenty of wicked tropical systems in late October and even in November. So we're not clear just yet. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Appreciate you watching. Sunday Night Football tonight. Some of you might be interested in this one. Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Giants. Cincinnati's got to get going. It's my sports fanatic coming out here doing a little analysis on the fly. But anyway, whenever that game ends tonight on NBC, you can watch us on Wave News. I hope it's not Wave News at 1 a.m. like it was last Sunday night or last Monday morning, but it won't be at 11. It'll probably be around 11:30 or 11:45. So if you're going to still be up watching that game, keep the TV on. Watch Wave News. We'll give you the latest news as you get ready for the work week, and I'll have another look at this not too bad forecast that we have for the week ahead. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Take care of each other. Get those jackets ready. Take care of those plants as that frost comes into play. And I will see you guys on the TV side of things tonight after the Bengals and the Giants on Sunday Night Football. Good night.